I will tell you right now, as God is my witness, if we lose the midterms and we lose 2028, some in this room are going to prison, myself included.
Bannon just confessed to crimes on camera, and nobody's talking about it, by the way. Listen to what this man just said. If we lose the midterms and 2028, some people in this room are going to prison, myself included. Now, you tell me, what kind of a person says they're going to jail of an election? Not a policymaker, not a patriot, a criminal, someone who knows what they've been doing is illegal. And now, with their backs against the wall, they're not just scared, they're terrified. Top officials moving to military bases, the masks are off and the confection is in 4K. But here's what they didn't count on. We are watching. The diaspora is watching. And those who sold us out to stand next to these people, you're about to learn what your loyalty towards supremacy gets you. Nothing. If this doesn't wake you up, you're choosing to sleep. Drop a comment down below, share this, and guys, let's get into it. Let's talk about it.
Tell you right now, as God is my witness, if we lose the midterms and we lose 2028, some in this room are going to prison, myself included. They're not going to stop. They're getting more and more and more radical. And we have to counter that. And what do we have to counter it with? We have to counter it with more action, more intense action.
Steve, you got to stop drinking before you hit the stage, bro. You spilling all the beans. You telling all the secrets. What you so scared of, Steve? Talking about this God is my witness. If you believed in God, you wouldn't have gave him nothing to witness like that. Not to the fact that you going to jail off in elections. Who else going to jail, Steve? That sound like an innocent man to you? Huh? Is what he sounding like he going to prison for principle or depravity? Which one do you think it is? Is it the Rockland case? Is it something to do with those elections and the machines that Smart Elections had to file that lawsuit over? Is it something to do with, I don't know, what's really happening to those 1,200 migrants that disappeared out of Alligator Alcatraz? Does it maybe have something to do with the fact that the FBI just had to release a warning talking about not everybody posing as ICE is actually ICE? And this is from Kash Patel's FBI, so you know it's bad. What you going to jail for, Steve? So who gonna stand trial with you? Is it gonna be Elon? Maybe, I don't know, Stephen Miller? It's gonna be Big Don himself, Don DeCon? Who going to prison with you if the elections of 2026 and 28 don't turn out the way you want them to? Does that have anything to do with why you wanted to make sure that Trump got a third term? Is that it? What kind of intensity are you talking about turning up, Steve? How hard do you think these guys are gonna be fighting in order to not have the outcome that would send them to prison? Are we ready for that? Because if you could go to prison if the election don't turn out the way you want it to, could the Director of Homeland Security, could the real ICE agents and the fake ICE agents who can do what they do because you haven't assigned a penalty for impersonating an ICE agent also go to prison? Ladies and gentlemen, you've just heard a fascist afraid of the fall of his regime. What are we going to do about this? I know one thing. They're more afraid than we are. If you haven't noticed, these top Trump officials have moved out of their homes and now live on military bases because they are afraid of the people. And now with this election, they're more afraid than ever. If you think that November 2025 was a crazy time to be alive, November 2026 is going to be when it really hits the fan. Get your umbrellas. That's just my thoughts on it. Tell me what y'all think. I'm Theo EJ.
What do you mean you're going to jail? Is there something you want to tell us? Is there something you want to share with the class? Yeah, what you mean jail? You know, only people who say that are people who commit crimes. You're giving very much rat. Hey, Proud Boys, Triple K, I don't know if you guys realize this, but you got to snitch amongst your mist. Because people who talk like that is people who are federal as hell. What crimes did you commit? Did it happen to have something to do with an island and a couple rich people? And some kids? I don't know. Since you opened your big mouth and you wanted to put this information out here voluntarily that you go into jail, why is that? Could that be the reason? Comment down below. What do you
know damn well that was a confession, because he didn't even say we might or maybe. He said if they win, we are going to jail, myself included. If that isn't a confession, I don't know what is. But Steve Bannon, if y'all were following democracy the right way, you wouldn't have to be worried about going to jail, because last time I checked, when all of the previous presidents and their regimen left office, they weren't worried about being arrested. But maybe when you're doing all this illegal shit, blocking orders, ignoring judges and all of that shit, there might be some illegal stuff going on. And the thing that bothers me the most about our Constitution or how our court systems are ran, it's like people are openly defying the law. They're not being held accountable or arrested or anything for it. So it's like, sure, if that down the line these people get arrested, but it's like when you commit the crime or that heinous act, you should be arrested and tried right then. It shouldn't be years down the line. But yeah, MAGA is shaking in their boots if they're saying shit like this.
Look, did y'all see those videos of Mike Johnson and Steve Bannon? Steve Bannon basically said, if we lose, we going to jail. Mike Johnson basically was saying the same stuff. Like, look, if y'all don't do, if we lose this is going to be bad for everybody involved. See, they knew the whole time. That's what we've been saying. None of this that they have done since that man has been in office the first or the second time was by happenstance. All these years, the Mitch McConnells and people like him needed a scapegoat to really drive into the areas that they wanted to drive into. See, they needed and Donald Trump was their scapegoat. See, that man was able to do and say the things that they didn't have the courage to say. He said, yeah, I say it, I do it. They know me, I do it. And he did it. See, so all of the things this first and second term that they have done and are doing is they know it's criminal. They know it's unethical. They know. Nothing happened. Nothing is happening. Just, we didn't realize. No, they knew. They tried to do it. They're weaponizing everything. Now they're weaponizing hunger. Like all of this is real. All of this they have done. And all of you, a lot of y'all supported the mess. You know why? Because y'all hated everybody else and thought that everything would catch us and catch people of color and black people before it caught y'all. But y'all didn't realize that all of it is a double-edged sword. Because injustice anywhere is always a threat to justice everywhere. If you allow something to go wrong or with one person or one group, don't worry, it's coming down your street sooner or later in one form or another. And y'all allowed it because y'all wanted it. Y'all wanted somebody who spoke and thought the things that you all have been thinking and speaking for years in private. And that man was him. See, so yeah, now that Mike Johnson and Steve Bannon, all of them are speaking up and saying the parts out loud, the quiet parts out loud, don't be surprised. Because again, I say, they knew, they know. And it's up to this country to now stop it.
You know, I've often said that the GOP doesn't give a fuck about anybody other than rich white men. And all of the poor people that prop this fucking party up are some of the dumbest motherfuckers on earth. But I don't talk enough about the Coonesians that believe this shit too. I don't. Since the rise of Trump, literally since the rise of Donald Trump, the GOP, the base of the GOP, has felt free to literally show every negative thing about them and their party. Literally. If you think I am making any of this up, look, go on X, gonna give it to you in the Twitter, and look at the abuse Vivek Ramaswamy is getting and Dinesh D'Souza is getting. Okay? Kash Patel got some of this shit too. There was a holiday that had just passed called Diwali. I believe that's what it's called, Diwali. Kash Patel celebrated Diwali. Dinesh D'Souza celebrated Diwali. Vivek Ramaswamy celebrated Diwali. And the comments in their post shows exactly why these people are Coonesians, and it shows exactly why I don't respect them. because Dinesh D'Souza called Barack Obama ghetto. But now he's warning that non-white minorities might leave the GOP because of the racism. Hey, home, you helped to build that. You did. Wasn't me, it was you. Dinesh D'Souza made the fertile soil that is now biting him square in his ass. He created this problem. Please remember, Vivek and Dinesh and Kash Patel and all other Indian Americans who subscribe to the GOP mindset, you set the table for the abuse you're getting right now. You did. Y'all thought if you played down or disrespected black people enough, these motherfuckers would love you, and they don't. They don't like you. One of the posts on Vivek Ramaswamy's, he did a Halloween picture. His 2 kids dressed up. One of the fucking comments on his post said this: go back. They told him, go back to where you came from. You are making my white country dirtier. Now, mind you, Tucker Carlson used to say that. Tucker Carlson used to say exactly that. He did. Tucker Carlson is the one that put that bullshit out into the ether. Immigrants are making America dirtier. And now, that is literally being said to a former Republican candidate for president of the United States. Vivek is an interesting fucking story. He is interesting in all the wrong ways. He is interesting in all the wrong ways. This is a man who ran for president, talked about affirmative action is bad, the racism in America is not real, bootstraps and all that good shit. Ann Coulter told this man to his motherfucking face on his own show that she agreed with a lot of what he said, but she wouldn't have voted for him because he's an Indian. You ain't got to tell me but one motherfucking time and I'm out. Conservative values or no, I'm getting the fuck out of your party. If Ann Coulter can stay, I gotta go. If Tucker Carlson can stay, I gotta go. I would not join a bowling league that allowed Tucker Carlson or Ann Coulter in it. I'd be in it, I'd see them, and I'd get the fuck out of it. I'm going home. But that is the route of the Coonesian. That is the route of the Coonesian. You see, they have to take that abuse. They think it makes them more palatable to the people they're trying to reach out to. Y'all seen it on TikTok? I don't even have to lie. When Jeff Mead talks, look at his comment section. Jeff Mead will say some bullshit about black folks. His whole comment section will be filled with white people. Tell them, brother, people need to hear it. They say it in the comment section. But I guarantee you, Jeff Mead would get cussed the fuck out. He would be called every racial thing possible. Andre Williams is another one. Andre literally is out here like just tap dancing. That motherfucker is tap dancing for food at this point. And what did he get for it? Nothing. Nobody bailed his ass out of jail when he got his motherfucking pants pressed and folded while he was still wearing them. Nobody. The Hodge twins. The fucking Hodge twins. These motherfuckers are so anti-black it's not even funny. And yet when they asked, can they move into this all-white shit in where the fuck ever it was, Arkansas, I think, whatever, the man in charge said no. So what'd you do all that for? What the fuck did you do all that for? What was the purpose of all that? Why'd you do it? Acceptance. These people, all of them, every Coonesian you can think of, gay, trans, fucking Latino, whatever, they're looking for acceptance from a group of people who are the descendants of motherfuckers that gave these people the idea that you're less than them. Why the fuck would you want to be accepted by these people? No. That's why they don't like us. If you're a trans woman that fights against transphobia and you see a trans woman voting for Donald Trump and shit, you have nothing for that motherfucker. They are not like you. And you will tell them, nigga, well, why the fuck you gotta say that about me? Because it's true. It's fucking true. Look at Nikki Haley. She can never run as Nimarata Haley. Never. She has to literally shorten her fucking name and Americanize it to be accepted by a party that don't like her because she's a woman and they don't like her because she's of Pacific Islander descent. They are not liking you. Dinesh D'Souza's out here sounding alarms about GOP racism. Bro, you made it this way. You did. You disrespected the first black president of the United States for the appeasement of people who are now in your fucking comment section, in your goddamn pictures and shit like that, calling you every racial stereotype about Indian people. You had no, you over here sounding an alarm, but when it was Barack Obama and black folks, you talked about our IQ being lower and Barack Obama being ghetto. But they're sitting there telling you, take your ass back to India. How does that make you feel? Vivek Ramaswamy talking about racism is not this and this, that, and the third. Now they are talking shit about you in your comment section, about you and your children. A guy said your children are dressed up like his nightmare. H-1B visa people. How much is your soul worth, ladies and gentlemen? How much? Are you giving it away for free? Because y'all have to see the hypocrisy in this shit. They tell you, shit on the blacks. You shit on the blacks. But then they shit on you. And who's your allies? Who? Who in the fuck is your allies? Because you pissed us off. We're not coming in to save you. Any Tunisian, whether they black, Latino, gay, fucking trans, or an Indian, they keep asking us to come fight their battles. No, bitch, you made this. Like Sirizawa said, let them fight. Let them fight.
Steve Bannon just did something remarkable. He confessed on camera in front of a room full of Republicans, and the confession, if we lose the midterms and we lose 2028, some people in this room are going to prison, myself included, quote unquote. Now, I need to sit with that for a second. When do people say they are going to jail off an election? When they've done illegal shit. Period. Not when they've made unpopular policies, not when they've had some feelings, when they've broken the law. And now, as the walls close in, they are not hiding anymore. They are shaking. They are retreating to military bases. They are confessing in broad daylight. But this story, it's not just about them. It is about us, the black community, the diaspora, people of color who've been watching this circus and asking, how long are we going to pretend this is not exactly what it looks like? Let's set this table. We are not talking about minor infractions here. We are talking about years of blocking out orders, ignoring judges, weaponizing government systems against the people. We are talking about 1,200 migrants disappearing from detention centers, gone. We are talking about fake ICE agents snatching citizens off the streets without identification, without warrants, without explanation. We are talking about denying food stamps to hungry families while simultaneously funneling money into projects that serve their agenda. And who was the face of all this? You know who? I don't want to talk about it. The orange man, the scapegoat. Because here's the thing. Mitch McConnell, Steve Bannon, Mike Johnson, all these people, they needed that man, the orange man. They needed someone reckless enough, shameless enough, bold enough to do what they whispered about in private, but who are too cowardly to execute publicly. Trump didn't create this system. He was the weapon. They loaded and aimed at the democracy itself. And now they are scared because the people are waking up, because the blue wave is rising, because they know that accountability delayed its being is finally coming. And that is why Bannon is on stage, sweating, telling his donors, we might go to prison. Here's the first truth bomb. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. You all remember when these policies started rolling out? When ICE was raiding homes, when they were separating children from families, when they were denying basic human rights. A lot of people, even some black folks, some even people of color said, well, that's not my problem, that's their problem. They thought the blade of injustice was only aimed at immigrants, at Muslims, or whoever Fox News told them to fear. But here's what Malcolm X tried to tell us. The chickens always come home to roast. You think you can weaponize hunger and it won't touch your community. You think you can normalize lawlessness and it won't eventually reach your door. That double-edged sword doesn't care who you voted for. It cuts everyone, left, right, and center. And we are now seeing it. The same people who thought they were safe, who thought their proximity to whiteness will protect them, are realizing these people don't care about you. They used you, they platformed you when it was convenient. And now that the walls are closing in, where are they? Second, the truth. The Kunisians are getting exactly what they signed up for. Let me talk about Vivek Ramaswamy for a second. This man ran on an anti-affirmative action platform. He said racism in America isn't real and what happened. The very base he counted told him to go back where he came from, called him dirty, and Coulter said she wouldn't vote for him because he's Indian. You think that's shocking? That's the point. That's what you get when you platform white supremacy and think they'll make an exception for you because you're one of the good ones. Dinesh D'Souza, who spent years calling Obama ghetto, is now sounding alarms about GOP racism. Why? Because now it's affecting him. The soil he helped fertilize is now growing thorns that pierce his own feet. And Nikki Haley had to Americanize her name just to be considered. And even then, they still don't respect her because she's a woman, because she's not white, and no amount of tap dancing will change that. Here's the message to every black person watching this, every Latino, every other person of color who thought the GOP would love you if you just hated black people enough. They don't. They won't. And when the hammer falls, don't come crying to the black community to save you. We told you, you made your bed. Now you must lie on it. I've been in rooms where black folks debate whether we should reach across the aisle, whether we should extend grace to those who side with our oppressors. And I get it. We are taught to forgive, to turn the other cheek to be bigger person, but there is a difference between grace and being a doormat. Our ancestors survived the Middle Passage, didn't survive slavery, didn't survive Jim Crow, they didn't survive redlining and mass incarceration, so that we could smile and nod while people commit crimes against humanity in tailored suits. Respectability politics will not save us. Proximity to power will not save us. Only solidarity with those who fight for justice will save us. And the diaspora gets this. From Lagos to London, from Accra to Atlanta, we see the game. We see how power protects itself. We see how it uses black faces to justify anti-black policies. We see Candace Owens and Larry Leigler and every other puppet telling white America what it wants to hear, cashing checks while the rest of us suffer the consequences. But here's the beautiful part. We are not falling for it anymore. The young generation, they are woke and the truest sense. They are reading, they are organizing, they are calling out the sellouts, and they are building networks of resistance that don't depend on the approval of those who are in power. Let me get real with you for a second. Personally, I'm tired. I'm tired of watching people do evil and get away with it. I'm tired of watching criminals cosplay as patriots. I'm tired of watching my people get used, abused, and discarded. And I'm tired of watching other minorities learn the hard way that white supremacy doesn't care how much you smile, how well you speak, or how many times you dance yourself from blackness. But I'm also hopeful because Bannon's confession, that's fear, that's desperation, that's the sound of an empire crumbling. They know they're losing. They know accountability is coming. They know that people are rising. And to every black person watching this video, this is our moment. Not to gloat, not to say, I told you so, okay, maybe a little, but to organize, to mobilize, to make sure that when these people finally face consequences, we are the ones writing the next chapter. Here's what I want you to take from this video today. Power doesn't give up willingly. It fights, it lies, it confesses, it coded language and hopes you're not paying attention. But we are paying attention. And we are not backing down. Steve Bannon is scared because he should be. Mike Johnson is scared because he should be. Every official who moved to a military base, who weaponized hunger, who kidnapped people off the streets, they should be terrified, because the arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends towards justice. And to the Conitians, the sellouts, the people who thought they could escape their blackness or their brownness by aligning with oppressors, you can't. They will never accept you. And when the consequences come, and they will, of course they will come, don't expect us to fight for your battles. You chose your side, now face it. For the rest of us, keep pushing, keep organizing, keep calling all the lies, keep building the community, because we are not just fighting for today, we are fighting for every generation that comes after us. This is Tariq Critic, and I'll see you in the next one. Stay woke, stay angry, stay hopeful, and most importantly, stay active. Peace out.